this is back to like grade 6. Let's write down what are factors of 6. 1 times what is 6? Remember this from grade 6? 2 times what is 6? Remember the rainbow? Those are factors of 6. What are factors of 10? 1 times 10. What else? 2 times 5. Anything else? No. Factors of 12. 1 times 12. What else? 2 times. Any other factors? 3 and 4. All of these numbers can be divided into the original number. Factors are, you're expressing the number as a product, right? So the greatest common factor, you're looking for the factors they have in common. Well, they all have a 1 in common, and they all have a 2 in common. Do they have anything else in common, all of them? Well, this 12 and 6 have 3 as a common factor, but not 10. So the greatest common factor is 2. Okay? So let's do B together. This is on page 3. And you don't have to write this out every single time. You're just looking for the greatest common factor. What can 6, 10, and 12 be divided by? We just answered that in A. We know that they're all divisible by 2. But what else do they have in common? X. Why would it not be x to the power of 2? What would happen if I divided this by x to the power of 2? Kurt? That would result in a negative exponent. So you always want to look for the lowest exponent, basically. Okay? So it'd be 2x to the power of 1. Okay, what about the next one? Let's do this one together. Greatest common factor. What are 18, 36, and 24 all divisible by? The largest number. 6. They're all divisible by 6. Do they all have the variable a? And what's the lowest exponent? So a squared. That's it. That's the greatest common factor. Okay, so remember we said that factoring is to express it as a product. So what would be the greatest common factor of 3a? You look at the two terms. We have a 3a term and we have a positive 9. What can both terms be divided by? Yes, 3. Can they be divided by a? No. So it's just 3. Okay, so for factoring 3a plus 9, if I divide both terms by 3, well, if you can divide the term by 3, it means that working backwards, 3 times something gets you back to the original question. This was the original question. So let's do it. What's 3a divided by 3? Is just a. And what's 9 divided by 3? Positive 3. Okay, so all you have to do is fill this in. The missing factor there is just 3. This part's done for you, but eventually you need to know how to do that on your own. Okay, B. The missing factor. What times x minus 5 gives you 4x minus 20? What number do you have to put in front of that? This is back to, we're expanding to get back to it. Yep. 4. Good. And let's check, does it make sense? 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Check your answer. If when you expand it, if you get back to the original question, then you know that this has to be factored properly. Okay? Do C on your own. Both of these are divisible by 3. Do they have a variable in common? This one has an a and this one has an a. So the greatest common factor is 3a. If you're not sure, check your answer. Go back and expand it. Well, 3a times 3b would be 9ab. 3a times 2c would be positive 6ac. Was that the original question? Then yes. Some of you just wrote 3, but check your answer. You wouldn't get back to this. So that wouldn't work. Okay, so these are some examples of questions that you had to factor. So you can look through these and check your work.